like issues. I would love to hear your remarks over it. Further, like the presentation might be a bit messy because like it was created in a hurry because yeah.
That's okay, Pratham. See, we are all learning here, and the intent of the presentation is sort of one, this is a new company for us. We haven't analyzed it. Plus, we are interested in this company because we have heard some good things. So, the intent for us is also to learn, and the intent of you presenting is basically um, to see for us how you can make the case for a company, whether a yes case or a no case. And second, for you to also go through this process before you're, either you're selected for the internship or not, because you'll be doing a lot of similar work in the internship. So it's all in terms of learning. So don't worry about how you come across. Just do your best
Sure. In
and
the
try to
conclusion,
keep this. Try to keep this down to your content down to 25-30 minutes, because after that we'll have a brief Q&A.
yeah, so it would be wrapped up around 30 minutes. It's I tried to concise it as much as possible as per like his review.
Sure.
And at the end of it, like I gave a general idea about what my call is at the end, but like I would just give it again in the
Sure.
conclusion as well. So without further ado, let's begin with it. Good evening, everyone. My name is Pratham, and I wish to provide a report to you on Vikram Thermo India. Now, before we begin the presentation, a general outline of how the entire thing would go. We would first begin with a general introduction about the company, its market, its overview, followed like strictly by the timeline and the history on how the company came into existence and what products it offers. The ownership structure would be a one interesting fact where we would look at the background of major holders in the company, as well as a financial analysis in the respect of ratios and a historical comparison with other peers. We would finally look at what value the company generates as compared to the peers and the overall industry, and looking at various ratios. Antithesis to provide you with what are the major risks and the final verdict on that what the conclusion is about Vikram Thermo India. A general brief about the company. Vikram Thermo India is a public limited company listed in BSC and is headquartered in Ahmedabad, India. The company is mainly operating in the specialty polymers of aspect of pharmaceuticals and cosmetic industry. It is the main manufacturer of diphenyl oxide, an aromatic chemical, and is also a leading expedient developer. Now, if you are from a a non-pharma background, you would know what expedient is. Expedient is basically a drug that is used to balance out the various chemical compositions that are used within a medicine. It is also used for other purposes like tastemakers and to make sure the chemical is released at the intended place. As for infrastructure aspect, the company mainly has two manufacturing divisions, a chemical division and a cosmetic polymer division, which saw a bit of a change, and we will discuss that in the fixed assets aspect. The company is also an excipient GMP and ISO 9001 certified. The ISO certification is basically for the quality management of the company, of how it is able to generate value for the people it's serving. Exipad GMP is one unique certification for only the pharma companies. It is ensured to provide a quality rating to the excipients we discussed before and to ensure that they are effective as well as safe. The company further claims to be in over 50 countries serving its product worldwide. The basic vision and mission of the company was the mission of the company is to be an integrated excipient manufacturer. That is, it wants to integrate the entire industry within itself and to provide high quality products at a very cost effective measure way. On the other hand, the vision of the company is to be able to follow its underlying principles and to be recognized internationally as a polymer based excipient manufacturer, which holds a diverse portfolio. Both missions and visions are strictly followed by the company, and we would relate to that to you in the further slides. The mentioned below are the A credentials of the company. As we have discussed, the Exipat and ISO certifications. The Halal certification is one unique certification which often make an entire Islamic segment of the like population to not be able to utilize certain products because of the components that are used with it. Halal certification ensures that the company follows the its like composition of the chemicals as per the Islamic law. The US DMF certification is a drug master file that is made to ensure that the company is able to protect its intellectual property rights over the chemicals that they generate. This is followed by an overall timeline of how the company came into existence and what are its current aspects. The
Pratham,
com- yes, sir.
sorry, before you proceed, can I ask you to explain their products in more detail to us? Like we are completely unaware of what they make. So can
Yeah,
you simplify it for us? What are
yeah.
they making?
That's the entire
So
aspect
you
of
have it
what.
already. You have it
Yeah,
in ahead.
yeah.
Okay, no worries. Then carry on. I thought it was done. Yeah,
No, that was just the introduction aspect. Now we would
great.
cover when they launched the product and then what are the products.
Sure.
The company first started as a DPO manufacturer, that is refined oxide, and was the first company in India to do so in 1985. In 1989, they launched the aromatic chemicals known as Vikram Aroma Private Limited. Note that the company was in line with its mission of being an integrated company, and this was its first step in doing so. This was the company established was under the same management at the time, and in 1995, the company, after a decade of experience in the field, launched its initial IPO and got listed in the BSE. The IPO had a face value of 10 rupees and a premium of 90 rupees and had an issue of 10 million shares at a 25% dilution. The company at that time launched the IPO was mainly because of the fact that in 1991, India had the liberalization, privatization, globalization reforms and was starting to reach its peak in the economic cycle, which was the reason why the IPO was quite successful with 95% subscription at the time. In 1997, the Vikram Thermo and Vikram Aroma merged, which is in line with the vision to offer a diversified portfolio and launched the flagship product Drug Code. Now, Drug Code is like very important aspect of the company because it is the major revenue driver of the company and the reason why the company is is able to achieve the heights it's at it now. The company in 2009 then further had a CGMP compliant and got further ISO and halal certification in like later years. In 2018, marked as like a major milestone as the company was recognized as the biggest pharma coating polymer company in Asia. In late 2018, the company launched a new product called Aquapol. Now, Aquapol is the main reason for driving the sales of the company in the later years, and what it is, we will discuss it shortly. In 2021, as the company is like very dependent on petrochemical products, as excipients are like made on the petrochemical outcomes, required struggled a lot with rising costs and the over that further industry wide effect. Further, in company also incorporated a related party, Vikram Ingredients, which is also a separate division from the company. In 2022, there was launch of Apion, and further in 2022, the company announced a demerger with Vikram Thermo and Vikram Aroma in their 20th annual general meeting. The demerger got finalized in the later months around September, and the November saw a very drastic change. That was due to the demise of one of the whole-time directors, Mr. Chiman Khodabai Patel, who was like very critical to the company. Now, I have discussed a lot of products about in the of how the company launched them and at what timeline. We need to further analyze what these products are. Diphenyl oxide was the main product in 1985 when the company was incorporated and is still used in like a minority segment. It is a perfumery stabilizer that is mainly used in fragrances and to prevent its degradation. The perfumes and often the chemicals that we use have a certain fragrance to it, and diphenyl oxide ensures that this fragrance is maintained and is like able to absorb the various wear and tear that like happens in the normal environment and ensures that the drug is the overall stable. Drug coat is the main product of the company and is the reason why the company has grown to such heights, for which we require a deep dive into what drug coat exactly is. Drug coat is basically a methacrylic acid copolymer based basic pharma polymer. Now that sounds gibberish to me because I have no idea what pharma industry is. So let's break it down into what it actually does. It is used for enteric and film coating. Enteric coating is basically to ensure that the product is launched where it is intended to launch. Like you can see in the image that the uh, drug code L and drug code S series is mainly targeted at the intestines. And to ensure that it is the release of the chemicals is done at that level, enteric coating is required, and drug code provides that. On the other hand, a film coating is one which ensures that the chemical is overall stable for ingestion, because an unstable chemical would lead to various side effects, and to ensure that doesn't happen, film coating is required. The company also had various categories in it, that is LNS, ENE, RL, and RS series. The main idea is the same to provide enteric and film coating. However, the target and the release aspects is different. As in the L series, the release is quite immediate, similar for NAE series. But in the other series, the release of the chemicals take some time. So that's the basic difference between them. The usage of drug coat is basically to first ensure that the protective coating and to ensure that the shelf life of the product is further elaborated and is protected from moisture, light, and other like factors that exist in the environment. A sustained release that is done through film coating is basically done to ensure that the product does not require multiple doses to be taken, which like further increases the chances for your like basic side effects to occur. This is followed by the release of DR code. Now, the company recognized the fact that the drug code was like a revolutionary product, but was very on the expensive end, and not every organization could utilize it. So they started a new series, DR code, in parallel with drug code, which is basically which has basic function of drug code, but is for a more general purpose and is up to 30% less expensive to utilize. The basic idea is to prevent corrosion and wear of the drugs that utilize DR code formulation. Aquapol was launched in 2018, as shown in the timeline aspect. And the main reason, like the main use of Aquapol, is in cosmetic products. We all use cosmetic products, and these cosmetic products are often in a gel-like format for the purpose of ease of application and transport. This gel and the how to create this gel as well as thickening is ensured by Aquapol, of how what the chemical requirements are to ensure that the product is safe to use as well as is effective in its use. Apion is the latest product launch, which was launched last year, and the main usage of Apion is an ion exchange polymer. Now, again, what's the meaning of it is that it's a taste-making agent and ensures that the drug is safe, effective, and is less bitter and easier to swallow when the drug is consumed with the Apion formulation within it. The company, in its recent interview with Indian Business TV, also said that they are working on further products beyond Apion, and the launch of it is like yet to be decided and to be seen in the future, which shows that a company has an overall good future aspects. Now, to a more financial point of view, is the overall ownership structure as per 2021-2022 report. The company had 6.2 million shares outstanding overall. However, in the recent report of financial year 23, the summarized report showed that the company had a stock split of 4:1, which led to the overall shares to rise to 25 million, which had effect on its ratios, which would be discussed further. The promoter holding in the overall company was first diluted at 25% in the initial IPO back in 1995. However, the company further diluted over the years, and in the last 10 years, the promoters have started to gain the share of the gain majority share and over it by 4%. So first, we will look at the public ownership aspect of the company. The public ownership is mostly held by retail investors, that is 22.36%, and other small aspects like undivided family and over 1 lakh investors, 1 lakh rupees invested in the company. One critical aspect is the Investors Education and Protection Fund holding 1.27% of the company, which uh, which is critical in the overall holding. Once we look at the promoter holding, the promoters seem to have the majority share and stake in the company at 65.58%. There are mainly two major holders, Mr. Dheeraj Karsanbhai Patel, who is the current MD and chairman, and holds around 18.5% of the company, and Mr. Hajwan Bhai Patel, who holds the 7.5% company. There are other shareholders whose name ends with the name Patel and hold 39% of the overall company. And there were 10 board of directors in the financial year 2022, but due to the demise of one of the whole-time directors, Mr. Chinman Bhai Patel, the directors have now reduced to 9, and any new replacements have not yet been announced. Further, the stake of Chinman Bhai Patel was less than 5%, but the exact distribution of it among the existing shareholders is yet to be seen. Another aspect is that the Mr. Dheeraj Lal Patel also gained 14% stake in the company in the financial year 2021-2022, before which he was only a minority shareholder of 4 to 5%. The organizational overall chart begins with Mr. Dheeraj Lal Patel, who is the chairman and MD, Mr. Moti Bhai Devabhai Fosi, who is the CFO of the company, and Mr. Mahesh Kumar Kantila Shah, who is the company secretary and compliance officer. The CFO and the company secretary were both appointed back in 2015 and are like quite experienced in their field and has been working in the company since then, which is around 8 years. There are three main whole-time directors: Mr. Chinman Khodabais Patel, Dinesh Kumar H. Patel, and Mr. Ankuri Patel. Under which all of which Mr. Chinman Bhai again has demised in November, and the current board seat is empty. Mr. Ankurji Patel is directly related to Mr. Dheeraj Lal Patel, which is a very critical aspect because of the same uh, blood relation that they follow. Because Mr. Ankur is like son to Mr. Dheeraj Lal Patel. Now we have discussed a lot about Dheeraj Lal Patel and his overall shareholding. So let's see who he is and what are his like expertise in contributing to the company. Mr. Dheeraj Lal Patel was appointed in 2009 and is the chairman and MD of the company with 40 years of experience in the overall field. He was coupled by Mr. Chinman Bhai Patel, who also had a 40-year experience in the company. However, he's not anymore with us. So further, the Mr. Dheeraj Lal Patel is also Padma Shri Award recipient and is holder in the all three Vikram companies, which is and like not only a major holder but also a directorship holder in that, which is like the most directorships of anyone in the whole company. His compensation is around 5 lakhs per annum, which was recently increased and comes out to be net 60 lakhs per annum, and receives 3% of the net profits of the overall company and has other benefits as per the income tax laws. Now, one aspect in this is the uh, Mr. Hajwan Bhai Patel, who is also a majority holder in the company, is a retired chartered accountant and is a member of Indian Chartered Accountant Institution, and also brought around 35 years of experience in the accounting and finance industry, as well as is a very proficient cost and work accountant of India. This brings us to the company financials. Now, the company financials at the time of the report were as follows. The company had a market cap of 237 crores and a share price of 75.5 rupees, and a overall sales and profit growth of 12%. This, however, has changed in the past few days since the making of report and has now increased to 85, and the market cap has like subsequently increased in like proportionate amounts. This brings us to a very critical aspect, that is the sales of the company. Now, the overall sales trend would be a upward trend since like 2013. The company has seen a sales growth as discussed by a 12% net sales growth in the last 10 years. But in the recent 3 to 4 years, there are critical factors that have affected company and its overall profitability. During the pandemic years, the company saw a 32% rise in the sales growth, mainly due to two factors that counter to the economic cycle. The pharma industry boomed in the pandemic period, as well as the fact that the company started to generate returns from the Aquapol product that they launched back in 2018, which led to, despite the economic downturn, the company to increase its overall sales as well as profitability. But the company is highly dependent on petrochemical products in its lead products, that is drug code as well as DR code. Because of the same chemical composition, the petrochemical products are required just to get the drug started, and after which further chemicals are required. This led to the profitability of the company to fall drastically in 2022, despite an increase in the sales of 26% in the company. That is from 74 to 93 crores. However, we have to note one important fact here is that of the 93 crores, the 24 crores were from the Vikram Aroma aspects, which would be critical in the subsequent year when the company would demerge. In 2022, they also launched a new product, Apion, and the return from the previous products, as well as the company being able to operationally manage efficiently, led to the overall profitability rise. This brings us to the material expense of the company. As you can see in the 2022 period, the material expense rose to from 48 to 62% of the overall composition. Not only because of the fact that the company sold more, but was also the fact that the petrochemical products had like subsequently increased in price, which affected the industry-wide levels. The important aspect is that the company recognizes the fact that the petrochemical products affect their profitability and is a very critical factor for their raw material cost, due to which they were able to immediately react, and in the subsequent year they were able to, despite the sales growth, bring their raw material cost down to 51%. Now, the raw material cost and the demerger are two critical aspects that has impacted the company in the recent years, which requires an operating profit analysis. The linear trend of the operating profits as per the expected sales growth is upward sloping, and the company has tried to maintain it up to that level. The demerger back in between June to September has shown its impact in the December 2022 operating profit, where the operating profit fell. However, this led to a company to, in the short run, to be able to reorganize its current holdings as well as operational efficiency and rise it back in March 2023 to like the more of a linear trend levels. Further, the operating profit due to this demerger and the changes in the company's efficiency to be able to manage the petrochemical inputs cost has shown that the company's operation is very effective in its management of costs and in its overall functioning, as shown by the trend that is like starting to rise back just in the next quarter by and the trailing 12 months operating profit to be 22%. This covers the entire profit aspects and how the two critical events led to the change in the operating profits of the company as well as its sales growth. Now, the company claimed in the first slide, as I told, was claimed to be in the 50 major countries around the globe. However, the company majorly operates in US, China, Europe, and Japan regions, and that's the where the most of the revenue of the company comes from outside India. However, the company still is majority dependent on India, with 82% of its overall revenue coming from India and 18% of it coming from the rest of the world. This requires a further analysis on the grounds that is the company truly able to operate outside India in an efficient manner and obtain like the scalability that they have operated in got in India. The company is showing a good sign in the tax paying aspects as they are paying as per the taxes as per the industry line, and are also not much impacted by the interest rates due to the company not like depending less on leverage in the past 10 years. However, this has changed a bit in the recent half year. In the 2020 in the March 2022 to September year, the company even paid back the net amount of 3 crores in like the borrowings that they had. A further analysis of these borrowings on the fixed assets can be shown. The company mainly has two major plants, one for the aroma chemicals and the standard polymer development. However, due to the demerger, a part of the aroma chemical factory was uh, differentiated to Vikram Aroma Private Limited instead of Vikram Thermo Private Limited. This led to a decrease in the fixed assets of the company. However, this is not shown in the graph was mainly because of a few factors that would be discussed. The first, we would have to look back in 2018 when the company launched Aquapool, which saw a major spike in the fixed assets of the company, mainly because of the increased investment in plants and property and equipment. However, in the subsequent years, the company's fixed assets remains the same level. However, in 2022, this also rose substantially. This was mainly because of the fact that the company launched Apion in 2022, which required a plant and like the entire manufacturing facilities, which required further investment, as well as the difference in the accounting principles of the company, which required uh, the majority amount of the investments that they have been done over the years to be recognized in 2022. The effect of the demerger uh, can be seen in the decrease in the fixed assets, but the subsequent increase at the end of the fixed assets is mainly because of the fact that even after the division of the part of the factory to Vikram Aroma, the company didn't like hold back on the fixed asset investment and almost doubled the investment that they did in the prior year to 12.76 crores, which led to an even increase in the fixed assets in the subsequent year. The company value can be seen on the following basis. As per their own MD in an interview with Indian Business TV, showed that they are an R&D driven company with a dominant share of 75 to 80% in the country. This, however, I wasn't able to exactly prove back. The company does spend a good portion of their overall sales on the R&D aspects, but the majority share in the Indian market is a bit questionable. Further, the Vikram Thermo company does not import any technology from outside, due to which it backs the fact that the company's fixed assets are of the state of the art and are like one of the best in the country, if not the best. The company's overall trend in the last 5 years has been that the company is observing a 20% sales growth, which not only is backed by data but is also estimated to continue in the future and has a profitability increase of 49%. The profitability increase is mainly due to the increase in leverage, which magnified their returns in the subsequent years. The company has an overall sales growth of 12% in the past 10 years and has an estimated sales growth of 20% in the future. On the other hand, the profitability has been also been increasing by 12% in the past 10 years, and the trailing profitability is 98%. However, the part of the leverage and the increased operational efficiency does contradict the fact that the company can keep on growing at 98% in profits every year, though the average increase in profit is estimated to be around 30 to 35%. When compared the profitability and sales growth to the industry in the past financial year, the company has significantly outperformed the overall like the mindset that the entire industry has, with the minus 8% profitability to 97%. This can be shown further in the aspect of the company where they are able to generate an ROE. The ROE of the company in the last 5 years, in the last 10 years, has been in between the 15 to 20% bracket and is expected to further continue. However, the without leveraging ROE to another peer and the overall industry, understanding is the return adequate enough is or not is questionable. Due to which I have conducted a peer analysis on the basis of the BSc website peers as well as the industry averages as per the screener website. So the ROE of the overall industry has seen a very high variability, mainly due to the price fluctuations. Sri Hari Chemicals, one of the competitors of Vikram Thermo, has seen an 84% of the total cost to be of the total sales to be the material cost, which shows the fact that the material cost price hikes have been very efficiently managed by Vikram Thermo. Sonal Adhesive, on the other hand, has magnified ROE, significantly outperforming the industry and peer average, is mainly due to the fact that they have increased their leverage to a very substantial amount, and are more inclined towards debt rather than equity, from like 5.08 of the company to 1.81, which is of the industry that they're operating in. GNFC and Vikram Thermo, on the other hand, although despite a very significant difference in scale and market cap, have seen a stable ROE in the past several years. Although the Vikram Thermo seems to have outperformed the peer average, but the peer average is like brought significantly down due to Sri Hari Chemical, and has performed almost in line with the industry average. But due to this entire dynamic and variability, the exact verdict on ROE cannot be drawn, due to which a further analysis on the price ratio is required to see if the company is moderately or undervalued or not. As compared to the various peers, the company is moderately valued, although Sri Hari Chemicals was excluded in this because of the very high variability in the P ratio uh, due to the cost that they are unable to manage. The company is moderately performing when compared to the various peers, but has indicated that it is a bit undervalued as compared to the industry averages overall. The this is because of the fact that the sales and the profit growth have been favorable and is supposed to continue at 20 and 30% respectively in the future, and a higher valuation of the company might be expected from it. But to provide a further insight into the price to book value comparison of the company, GNFC had a very low ratio due to very uh, due to very asset heavy balance sheet. On the other hand, Solar Adhesive is very asset light, due to which they have a very high price to book ratio. For Vikram Thermo, it's marked at fairly reasonable levels in between both peer and industry averages, which uh, which shows that the company is overall valued at a moderate level. There are few major events that have to be shown before we take any final call on the company. The company is a regular dividend paying company, even paying a 3% dividend in the worst year of 2022, which had a very high price increases as well as after effects of pandemic. The company announced a stock split in April 2022, which decreased a few ratios and but increased the overall liquidity and the volume of the shares in the market. The company's EPS was further adjusted to the stock split and was doubled from 2.7 to 5.39%. And there was a increased profitability and then decreased reserve by 9 crores or 15% that led to this sudden change in the EPS. The debt side of the company, as it discussed if in the prior period, that the company doesn't believe in taking a lot of debt, but this changed in the recent years, where in 2022 the company had a total debt of 16 crores and had borrowed additional 3 crores in the subsequent years, and the majority of the debt at this point of time was long term. However, in the subsequent years, the company's short-term debt increased due to the repayment pending on these like debt payments that were borrowed in 2022. The company's total borrowing was 19 crores, and where almost 12 crores of it was the short-term that the company had to repay. From a financially cash flow point of view, the company is healthy in cash flows, even parking a lot of funds up to 3 to 5 crores in investments, and would be able to is expected to be able to meet these debt obligations and the interest payments on it, as the ratio of the overall debt is quite low in compared to the industry, which is at 1.5 level. Now, a critical aspect of the company to contribute towards a balanced discussion, despite the fact that a company has a healthy cash flow and is able to being marked at a price levels that are equal or in line with the overall industry, there is the director remuneration, which is significantly higher than the overall industry levels when compared the entire board of directors remuneration. Specifically, in the case of Mr. Dheeraj Lal Karsandal Patel, who is a LPA launched increased from 36 to 60% in 1 year, and in the recent meeting on 29th May, also saw a 10% hike for all the directors. Although this is for putting a financial pressure on the company and is also a questionable aspect for the company. Another aspect is the audit team of the company, JD Shah and company, who has been the company's audit team for the last 8 years, and has been re-elected to serve the office for the next 5 years as well. This shows this is a bit of a risk for the sign of collusion and loss of objectivity that an audit team is required. A further analysis might be required on that grounds. Further, the company is using a defined benefit pension plan, which uh, generally seen as is generally frowned upon due to the high financial obligations that it puts on the companies, as well as the overall financial pressure that the company observes. Lastly, the majority holding of is like a promoter, and in that the everyone who holds or is a board of directors is from the same family, which shows a very concentration of power at certain places as well as succession challenges. You can see from the 2022 report, board of directors, majority of directors were have a surname ending with Patel, and if they are, the Mr. Bharat Bhai M Shah is also a related party as per their disclosures. Now, what is the overall conclusion of it? Although Vikram Thermo is a leading company in the pharmaceutical and polymers industry, it has been able to achieve significant milestones and is a very certified company in the basis of quality and safety. The company has shown a positive growth in sales as well as upward trend in the overall profitability in the last 10 years or so. The demerger is a positive sign for the company as it would show a higher operational efficiency in the long term. And the board of directors also bring decades of experience in like in respective fields they're operating in. The stock is well positioned and is a good purchase for a period of time. The period being referred here is 1 to 2 years due to the launch of various products in the last years and would lead a significant increase in the profits and profitability as per the trend line we saw. However, in the long run, due to the antithesis aspects of the company, the qualitative leverage that the company has is lower than what ideal company should have, due to which there might be a further analysis required to see if the company should be held for the long run or not. That concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Good presentation. Maybe you can keep this screen. I mean, you can share the
Yeah,
presentation also.
yeah, I didn't intend to do that. I just clicked space bar and it like just
No
shifted it
problem.
very fast.
Pratham, where did you make the presentation? Was it made on Microsoft PowerPoint or Prezi?
Microsoft PowerPoint.
Oh, you made it on Microsoft PowerPoint. Wow, that you need to teach us how to do that, where you zoomed into the one of the products and it sort of zoomed into the next slide. That was a very nice.
Uh, I thought to do that for like everything, but like I was like that would be a bit repetitive and like
Yeah,
in general,
that was nice. So you can do
yeah,
that on PowerPoint, is it? I didn't know that.
yeah. It's a feature called Zoom. You could just like set it in a particular
Oh,
settings that you just click it and it just shifts and the zoom
I
very.
see. Very interesting. Thanks.
Very
Thanks.
nice.
I'll use that. Yeah, Gaurav, go ahead.
Yeah, for me, I think a good presentation. I was just reading the last slide actually, where uh,
Yeah,
can you
just give
see
me a
the last slide?
second. I will just.
Do I have your presentation?
I did send it, but okay.
No, sorry, the one before, antithesis one.
Antithesis.
Yeah.
1 second.
Okay, cool. Yeah, more or less. See, I don't have many questions. I think your presentation was pretty good. From the company point of view, do you see any triggers in the company? So, for example, right now they are doing a profit after tax of 16 crore rupees, right? Um, in the next 2 years, as you were also saying, like, there's not much significant scope for the company. I mean, they might have whatever profitability that they have, maybe they'll grow their sales at, say, almost between 11% and maybe 20%, and they might have a profit growth of maybe, I don't know, 13-14%, something like that. Do you also feel that way about after reading about the company?
Yeah. So there are two aspects. One is from a pure number point of view, which
Hmm.
I did which was the aspect I focused more in the presentation. That was the 20% growth and on sales and 30% in profits. From a realistic point of view, I personally consider that the company would be able to maintain the sales growth at 20%, but the profits might contract in the future years, mainly due to 3 4 factors. The first factor is that the company recently came out of a demerger, and even though they are showing an overall perfect trend in their operating profits, that's a could be a fourth quarter surprise, as like many companies do. So, like in further years, as further analysis is required. And from profit, I honestly consider your estimate to be a bit better, to be like 11 to 12% profitability growth rate that this saw like a historically 10 years average, because the company launched a few new products. That is the Apion and Aqua. Aquapol was like 6 years back, but Apion is like in the last year. And right now, the company would require to like further hone themselves and increase their efficiency in the product.
Hmm.
After 2 3 years, they might be able to bring it up to 20, 15 20%, but in the next 4 to 5 quarters, they would have to like significantly improve their efficiency if they want to outperform the overall market sentiment in this
All
regard.
right. And since the company doesn't do any con call, we don't even know what is the utilization or what are their
Yeah,
capex plan. There
yeah,
isn't any capex that is going on, right? So,
yeah. That is one of like antithesis which I mentioned. Like the majority promoter holding is a issue because if a company is held by the same family, there
hmm,
is a lot of concentration of power. And like yeah, so that would be, if they want a con, they wouldn't do a con call, they would just like call everybody at home and just discuss whatever they want to.
right.
So yeah.
My next question is the market size or the total addressable market for this company. I mean, what are they making? They are making these shells for capsules, right? Sort
So
of.
I guess my explanation for products wasn't that clear. Like if you just remove all the brand names, drug code, Apion, Aquapol, etc.,
Hmm,
the core aspect is that the company is making basic metallic and acid copolymers. The in like meaning of it is that it is used in it is a basically a factor that comes between various chemical compositions. Like if there is like, I'm not from a like chemistry
hmm,
background, so if there is H2O, to combine H and O, there might be required of a third element that ensures that a human can consume it. So they, what they do is they provide that excipient, and when that excipient is applied, the overall composition is like more stable. That is their core
right,
business.
right, right, right. I misunderstood then. Okay, cool. Right. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Okay, got it.
yeah.
And right. And
If you
do you
want,
know about their competitors in this space?
yeah. Uh,
Did
can I
you
like
come
just
across
put
anything?
एक चीज पहले को हाँ.
Haha.
So thing is, the company had 4 series in the drug code aspect. जो आपने पूछा था कि like what the company produces. So जो series है, they are various basically provides further explanation कि company का जो experiment बनते हैं वो, they focus it on various aspects. Like a drug is supposed to release in the like stomach, intestines. So various series के chemicals ensure that it is released there. That is their very like basic cheese. On the competitors aspect, the company has, as per the BSc website, the competitors I came across was like the ones I mentioned, GNFC, Sonal Distillation, Srihari. The screener website provided different competitors, but the market cap of those companies, and they were not even operating in India, was so different that like the variability cannot be even compared. But I still mentioned it for the overall industries. In
Hmm.
the 3 competitors that I mentioned here are the ones that are operating in India and has like a similar space of the chemicals and polymers. GNFC is one which is like the most competitive as compared to Vikram Thermo in the polymer space. Others develop chemicals, but that are like competing with one or two like Apion or Aquapol or one or two products only.
Right.
Now, the exact comparison, in my opinion, the GNFC and Vikram Thermo are of different scales. But if you like common size it and compare it, they are the most in like relative and well a competitive space. The other two have so high variability in their recent financial reports, like mentioned by the material expense and the Sonal adhesive being a very highly leveraged company in the recent years and very equity light. They cannot like their space can be compared, but their financials cannot be compared.
I don't think they are similar company also. I mean, the products that they are making. Right. One is making drugs, one is making adhesives. Right.
I
Uh,
don't think any of those companies can
Yeah.
be compared, Pratham. Even JNFC is a fertilizer company, right?
like, like
So
what I saw was like the BSc website mentioned that they
Uh-huh.
are in a similar space. So I
yeah,
compared
yeah,
and
yeah. So
tried to
that's
relate them.
basically one learning, Pratham, that BSc website and screener, both of them will give you a lot of
Different.
they will give you a lot of companies as sort of peers, which are not peers. So what I generally do is I read the screener description. Screener has a nice short description for every company, no?
Yeah.
Uh, if you've seen it. So
Yeah. Sir.
reading that will tell you actually whether it's a peer or not. So in your case, as you were going through this slide, I was looking at what each of these companies do, and none of them are peers actually. So for this company, probably there are no peers, Or maybe the closest company I can think of is somebody like a Natural Capsules, but they make capsules. So, Pratham, if I were to try to define this company's products in simple English, could I say that they basically make different kinds of chemical coatings for tablets and capsules?
Uh,
Would that be
include the
accurate?
like chemicals, capsules, gels, etc. Like a variety of series, but yes,
But are they generally like applied at the surface, coatings only, or are they also part of the capsule or tablet inside sometimes?
that depends of what series of the drug code aspect or the DR code you're using. In like a few of them, the when there is the only film coating in considered, it
Hmm.
is applied over, and on
Okay.
the other aspects, it's applied within the chemical composition. Like
Okay.
in certain like liquids and like in liquids and gels, you cannot film apply it. You have to include it in its chemical composition. So when it's included in the chemical composition, it like acts as a part and is like required to be disclosed as per the like
So
Okay. So,
required.
yeah, Gaurav, go ahead.
so Nirvan, I think, I mean, what I understood is, especially with the aromatics, right? Wherever you need aroma, there you have this diphenyl something oxide, right?
Oxide.
What it does is, I mean, you have this aromatic. These would be uh, organic molecules, and they sort of bond very very minor bond that they do, hydrogen bond type of a bond,
Mm-hmm.
which reduces these aromatics to fly off because they are very volatile in nature. So they sort of lock it in inside these.
Right. So, Gaurav, that is
Hmm,
more for the aromatics business, which has
hmm.
been demerged, I think. I am talking
Correct.
more about the pharma business, which is mostly the DR code, drug code, APION, etc. That
This is I'm not able to find. Even I'm searching for that.
Yeah, so what I
Yeah.
can understand from the website is that it is basically like Pratham is saying either a coating or some kind of chemical may be part of the drug. Now, my question to you, Pratham, is if you look at the pharma value chain, the way a medicine is made is there is a company which makes the API. Okay, API is active pharmaceutical ingredient, which is the actual chemical compound which does the job of that medicine. So, for example, if you're buying Crocin or Calpol, the API for those medicines is paracetamol. Okay, so there's a company that usually makes the API. Then that API is a chemical basically. That chemical is then taken by a company which makes formulations, which converts that chemical into an edible form. Okay, either into a converts it either into a tablet or a syringe or a capsule or whatever. Okay, so this person is called the formulations guy. So there's an API guy, formulations guy. Sometimes they are backward integrated. So the same guy makes API and then converts it into formulations. Now I'm trying to understand where does Vikram Thermo come in. So who are its clients? Are its clients these formulation companies? Like, does it sell its chemicals to the formulations companies? And then the formulation company, when they are making the final product, they use Vikram Thermo's products wherever required in whatever quantity. Or is it the case that the formulations company, before finishing the product, they have to send their product to Vikram Thermo? Then Vikram Thermo does whatever they need to do with it, and then they package it and give it back to the company. So, do you understand this? I'm trying to understand where they are sitting in the value chain.
Yeah. So on that basis, to be frequent, like quite honest, I haven't like exactly know where the how the pharmaceutical API aspect is and where Vikram Thermo is at the moment. But
Hmm.
if I were to take a guess on the basis of the analysis I have done, I would say they are at the part where they take API from the Vikram Ingredients company that they recently like established, a third company in the Vikram Wale
Is it
aspect. Where
listed?
it's not listed. It's like
Okay.
it's a
Okay. It's a
private
private
company,
company. Okay.
and like as per the name, the ingredients company would provide the ingredients to the Vikram Thermo company, and then they would like just market it to outside.
No, so my
If
question is, Pratham,
uh,
sorry to interrupt you. Are they selling their products to other pharma companies or are they selling it as a B2C product?
uh, to that, I would have to get back to you because I
B2B,
have
Nirvan.
like
Yeah,
B2B.
this has to be B2B, right? I
Yeah,
yeah,
this
think
is a
it
B2B
sounds
product.
like a B2B. So basically, that is something I'm not clear, Pratham. So,
yeah,
see, whenever we look at a company, now we try to get a touch and feel of the product, right? Just to sort of understand what exactly they are making, who is buying, where does it go into the final product. So, for example, do you know any of their clients?
No, not at the moment. If I,
Okay, okay, cool.
Available as well. I mean, I'm trying to search that who are the clients
Yeah,
with the annual
maybe
report and all.
annual report. Yeah, okay. Annual report also doesn't have. Maybe credit rating report, Pratham, you can check one. Sometimes these
their
credit
credit
rating.
rating report, they I guess deemed like got Trestle like removed their rating from it due to non-payment of like the fees, I guess,
Okay.
in the
Oh,
2016.
okay.
So
Okay.
even past reports are not relevant due to the drastic changes
Got
over
it.
the last
Got
seven
it.
years.
Okay. Okay. So then we need to understand that bit, before trying to even look at financials, etc. Because where they are sitting in the value chain will be critical to understanding, who holds how much power, like what
Who,
is.
like,
So
who is
if
like the most leveraged?
yeah, I mean, who is sort of is their product key critical to the if they are suppose supplying to the Ciplas of the world, the Dr. Reddy's of the world, then that's great. And if there are not a lot of competitors, that means they're doing something which is valued, right? By these large players. So that is something that I wanted to understand. And second is, I was looking. You said that the fixed assets have almost doubled, but in that period, the revenues have almost doubled from around 2019 to 2023. So do they have what kind of growth triggers do they have? Like, do they have spare capacity left in your assessment? I know they don't do con calls, but looking at the numbers, does it look to you that they there is no capex, like there is no capital work in progress, so no capex is happening, and to my mind, unless their net fixed asset terms have improved a lot suddenly, they are close to exhausting their new capacity also, no?
In my in my understanding of the company and its business, I would say they have a like almost a 10 to 25% margin in their overall capex, as they can, because
Correct.
setting up of a new industry and like immediately like putting it into the maximum capacity, I don't think they would be able to get that scale in that like short span of time, because Apion is like launched like literally next year, and it has been just a almost an year to its launch. So I would
Okay.
say that the company still have a certain like amount left
Leeway.
to further leeway.
Some utilization is left. Okay.
Plus
So
they
I
are uh,
yeah.
yeah, so plus they are like very into R&D and the factory valley side, so they never like goes back on that wali cheese ki they would like cut their funds in the factory wala aspect, because the Vikram Thermo overall is a company that aspires to like grow over like a long period of time. So yeah.
Hmm. I'm doing
One
a
thing,
very yeah, Gaurav.
Nirvan, Pratham, sorry to interrupt. I have to go somewhere,
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
immediately. So I'll drop off. Maybe Nirvan, I'll take feedback from you on this topic,
Yeah.
right? And
Sure, sure.
Pratham, great presentation. I'll let you know, right? All of the things after that,
Yeah,
after
sure.
I discuss with Nirvan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thanks,
Bye.
Gaurav.
Bye. Bye.
Bye. Pratham, if you're okay, we'll carry on for 5 more minutes.
Yeah, yeah, I'm like all for it. I have like
Yeah.
spent a good 10 12 days to like ensure I do my best. Yeah.
Great. No, no, the presentation was really nice. Yeah. So I'm doing a very simple calculation. So in March 2021, they had fixed assets of 32 crores and they did a revenue of 74 crores. Okay. So if you take the ratio, that's somewhere around 2.5x net fixed asset turn. So sales divided by net fixed assets is around
If you want,
2.5x.
I could just like plot the entire thing here. If you want.
Yeah, no, not required. So I'll just share my screen once. I'll just take it over from you and share my
Sure.
screen once. Yeah. So you see, you can see my screen, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So in March 2021, they had a revenue of 74 crores on a fixed asset base of 32. So if you do the math, that's around 2.5x. Okay. And if you apply that same 2.5x asset turn to 61, you get about 150, right? About 140 to 150. So they're at 112. So that gap is around 25%. So I'm just going by basic math. So that's also what you think, right? Around 25, 30% is the spare
The
capacity that
leeway.
they might have. Right. Okay. Just trying to understand from a growth point of view. I was just noting down some questions. So, yeah. So this, do you think there are any growth triggers barring this normal kind of growth that is happening? Is there anything, any specific trigger which will play out right now?
See, like except the launching of new products and various aspects that they are starting to do,
Hmm.
the I like found an interview of their MD
Hmm.
from like 2 3 years back where they had
Pratham, are you there? Hello. Pratham, can you hear me?
yeah, I guess my internet went out for a second.
Yeah, yeah.
I guess.
Now you're back. You're back. Yeah.
So as I was saying on the growth triggers, I found an interview that the MD did with the India Business TV a few years back, and
Hmm.
they said that they would are planning a few product ranges, and
Hmm.
like often companies just say that to like show the market that they are working on something, but
Hmm.
the launch of Apion product Valley range in 2022 showed that they are actually working. So
Hmm.
that could be a growth trigger that they are like focusing on their mission that I mentioned for an integrated company in the entire excipients aspect. So they are
Okay.
starting to make a diverse portfolio, and on the basis of that, starting to grow. So that would be
Have,
a growth trigger for me from
so
my side.
Apion, right? So Apion is, so this increase in fixed assets from 34 to 61 has happened due to Apion.
The factory that was required for making the
Yeah.
Apion
So the fixed
cheese,
assets have grown for Apion only, right? For this new product only, right?
as per my analysis, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Right. Got it. And they have not talked about how much revenue potential Apion has or anything anywhere, right?
Yeah. So the issue is that they had a meeting on 29th May,
Hmm.
and on the way on which like I talked with the I like actually don't know his name.
Uh-huh.
So I talked with him that they are like recently launched an entire report on it. So should I like exclude it or try to include it with the best of my capabilities in like a couple of days? He said
Hmm.
just do what you feel like. It's like basically a general introduction ही तो इतना ज़्यादा भी मत लो. I was
Right.
like ठीक है तो फिर I just tried to incorporate it जितना भी. So the
Sure. Sure.
report they have launched is a 13-page report, which is a summary of the financials that they have in the last year. The actual annual report is yet to be released. And in
Oh,
the past annual report, in their risks or any expectations, they didn't mention any. The risks was mentioned that the petrochemical dependency,
right.
which I
Right.
like covered. I thought I covered it pretty well, and
Got it.
they didn't really mention any expectations. But the if we see the pure financial terms, the overall trend should increase in the few next quarters. But
Mhm.
overall, they would like this mean revert to their 12% average that they have been
Got
doing.
it. Got it. Got it. Okay. And last question, their MD you said had won the Padma Shri, right? So what did he win Padma Shri for?
I actually didn't read that one, but
Okay. That will be
so,
interesting to know
yeah, I would
because
just note it and get back to you with like
yeah,
all
yeah,
these answers. I have noted the questions you asked me. I
sure.
would,
That would be great, Pratham, because it would sort of help us understand the story a little bit more.
yeah,
And final question, the demerger happened, right? The aromatics division was demerged?
yeah. The a part of the aromatics division, they didn't completely demerge the aromatics, but a part of it.
Okay.
Like the majority got separated to Vikram Aroba, and
Okay.
they didn't really post any financials for the separated company. So
And
yeah,
that company is, there's a plan for it to get listed or will it become a private company?
at this point of time, they're a private company, and
Hmm.
if I just put my bias into it, is that I'm pretty sure they would keep it private. Like
Hmm.
as you see, the entire structure of the board is basically one single family.
Yeah.
The board, and if you look at the shareholders, there were like many shareholders, 27 or 25 or so,
Hmm.
as per the
Hmm.
last report, and all of them were like Patel surname wale.
Yeah. Yeah.
So and we also saw that they launched Vikram Ingredients wale side, which is also a private company and has
Hmm.
three directors that are like the Vikram Thermo के जो directors है वही
Common.
Vikram Aroma के
Hmm.
directors है वही Vikram Ingredients के.
But वो demerge क्यों कर रहे हैं? मतलब are you saying that, are you insinuating that दैट वाज अ मोर प्रॉफिटेबल डिवीजन, तो उसको प्राइवेट कर दिया, ऐसा कुछ?
uh, that would require financials. I tried to
हम्म.
get as much into it because उन्होंने एक demerger report निकाली थी.
हाँ.
I didn't get to completely analyze it, but what I got a sense from it is that of the like 93 or 94 crores that they did in the financial year 2022,
हम्म.
around 25 crores was like a good one fourth was from Aroma key sales
अच्छा.
sirf.
एंड वो
So
पूरा आप कह रहे हो पूरा डीमर्ज नहीं हुआ है, उसका एक पार्ट डीमर्ज हुआ है
like
25 करोड़ का?
yeah, that's my analysis because they are still listing on their website that they offer products that are like diaphenyl oxide related.
आई
So
सी.
if they were to like completely demerge it, they didn't
हम्म.
explicitly mention, but if they were to completely demerge it, they shouldn't mention the diaphenyl oxide वाली चीज website पे क्योंकि
राइट.
अगर आप वो ऑफर क्यों कर रहे हो जब आपकी कंपनी में वो है नहीं. So
हाँ, और इतना अच्छा ग्रोथ भी नहीं आ सकता यार, अगर अगर डीमर्जर, अगर फुल 25 करोड़ निकलने के बाद भी दे हैव ग्रोन फ्रॉम 93 टू 112, इट मींस 93 में से 25 निकाल दो तो कितना होता है, 68 से 112.
इससे डबल
यार
थोड़ा वैसे ही
दैट
like
इज यार 75% ग्रोथ, इतना थोड़ी ग्रोथ हुआ होगा. तो एक बार तुमने जो क्वेश्चंस नोट किए हैं ना, उसमें एक और चीज नोट कर लो कि डीमर्जर का जो डॉक्यूमेंट था, उस डॉक्यूमेंट में हैव दे गिवन एनी रीजन फॉर द डीमर्जर कि क्यों कर रहे हैं?
Phil, look at it. I have mentioned like few questions. We'll get back to you with all of them.
Yeah,
Just
sure. Because see, basically what we are trying to do is understand the story of a company and try to see whether valuations for this company looks reasonable, but like what are the risks sitting, right, that we need to understand.
yeah, when like the like I joined the meeting, he asked
Yeah.
me ki like
So his
what
name is
is
Gaurav, by
your
the way.
his I was like
Yeah.
waiting for you to
His
tell
name is
that.
Gaurav. My name is Nirvan.
So Gaurav sir told me like asked me कि तुम्हारा क्या है? तो I said a pure quantitative point of view से तो decent company है, but
Hmm.
qualitative aspects are very much like against my opinion for investing in an ideal company because like first one family holding the entire is like a very critical aspect इसमें
Hmm.
because सारी decision making उधर चली जाती है.
Hmm.
And then for like I try to find all aspects like the defined benefit plans etc. So there are quite a few things that may or may not go wrong with the company.
ये
इसलिए quality
जनरली डिफाइंड कंट्रीब्यूशन प्लान होते हैं क्या, पेंशन?
डिफाइंड द पेंशन प्लान पहले लाइक अगर आपको समझना है इंडियन गवर्नमेंट की साइड से इंडियन गवर्नमेंट ही डिफाइंड बेनिफिट पे चलती थी अप टिल
करेक्ट.
2001
करेक्ट.
बट दे चेंज्ड इट बिकॉज उसकी फाइनेंशियल लायबिलिटी होती है टिल द पॉइंट ऑफ आपका लाइक
हाँ,
एम्प्लॉय
नहीं मतलब
रिटायर्स.
मुझे वो पता है, मुझे डिफाइंड बेनिफिट और डिफाइंड कंट्रीब्यूशन मुझे पता है, बट मैं पूछ रहा हूँ कि जनरली कंपनीज में डिफाइंड कंट्रीब्यूशन होता है क्या? प्लान्स, द पेंशन
यस
प्लान एंड एवरीथिंग इज डिफाइंड कंट्रीब्यूशन, एंड यू आर सेइंग दिस कंपनी हैज अ डिफाइंड बेनिफिट प्लान.
यस मेन रीजन फॉर इट इज आई गेस अगेन द फैक्ट दैट सारे पटेल ही हैं तो
सारे
एम्प्लॉयज भी
पटेल हैं,
वही होंगे
तो
तो
एम्प्लॉयज भी
उनको
पटेल है तुम्हारे हिसाब
तो
से?
फिर
अच्छा.
उनको भी आगे जाके पैसे भी पटेल को ही मिलने हैं तो ऐसे
कितने
करके
एम्प्लॉयज है तुमने देखा है क्या इनके एनुअल रिपोर्ट में?
आई डिडंट लाइक लुक इनटू दैट
वेट जस्ट अ
बट
सेकंड, आई एम जस्ट
ये भी
गूगलिंग
नोट
इट.
कर लेता.
ये हाँ, तुम भी नोट कर लो ये. वैसे तुम कंट्रोल एफ मारो के एनुअल रिपोर्ट पे तो ये मिल जाएगा, बिकॉज दिस इज रिक्वायर्ड टू बी डिक्लेयर्ड. तो ये तुम्हें मिल जाएगा. अगर देखो 300-400 लोग हैं तो सारे पटेल तो नहीं होंगे, बट इट्स अ गुड पॉइंट. आई थिंक देयर इज अ हाई प्रोबेबिलिटी कि डिफाइंड बेनिफिट इसीलिए रखा है बिकॉज यू नो इट्स अ क्लोजली हेल्ड सॉर्ट ऑफ कंपनी.
प्लस
Number
उस
of
पे
permanent employees is 136 as of last annual report.
so what keyword did you search employees
हाँ,
or
just employees market. It's on the page number 29 पे है उनके annual report पे. बाद में देखना तो. There's also another way you can check the current employee strength. EPFO website पे, which is the PF website of India, Provident Fund website. EPFO
EPR?
पे जाके you can put the company name and it will give you the current payroll पे कितने लोग हैं. So
I
that
see.
is basically used by analysts. Sometimes suppose किसी कंपनी ने कैपेक्स अनाउंस किया है, यू कैन सी दैट द कैपेक्स हैज कम इन capital work in progress, but you are not sure when the plant is getting operationalized. So sometimes people track the employee count और जैसे उनको देखा कि employee count suddenly बढ़ गया, they try to marry two and two together and say कि अच्छा plant पे capex चल रहा था, hiring शुरू हो गई है, so it's closer to commercialization. So that kind of data is also available these days.
Yeah. So like if I just ask you what like the capex वाला जो aspect है,
Hmm.
I I tried to do it and do the best of my capabilities, but अब मेरे को जितना I get the vibe you got, like I don't have a clear understanding of it. So like could you just like shed some light
So
on
what
it?
do you
Like
sure? So what do you want to understand? The ratio that I was talking about.
नहीं, not the ratio. I understood the ratio वाली चीज, the sales to fixed asset. Like how do analysts actually understand capex in general? Like what do we look at and how do we like get it? Like,
See, capex is basically generally for manufacturing companies. Capex. You understand what capex is, right?
yeah, the what should we look at in capex all about this? I know the theory, but real
Yeah.
world में क्या चाहिए होता है
Yeah,
capex
so
वाला?
basically, capex for manufacturing companies is basically any capital expenditure. Usually, the most common capital expenditure for manufacturing companies is when they set up factories or when they purchase machines to put in those factories. So tangible assets, tangible fixed assets. Sometimes they will buy land or set up a building, office building, etc. Those are the main common capex items for manufacturing companies. For an IT company, on the other hand, capex will be in intangible assets. So like software development, right? If they are trying to develop a software product, then their capex will go into intangible assets. So screener पे जाके कभी भी तुम फिक्स्ड एसेट्स पे प्लस क्लिक करोगे तो तुम्हें सारे डिटेल्स मिलेंगे कि वो
Mhm.
फिक्स्ड एसेट्स में क्या क्या आइटम्स होते हैं. So so the way to track capex is if you go to the cash flow statement in screener and go to the investing part of the cash flow statement and hit the plus button, वहां पे तुम्हें दिखेगा प्लांट पीपीई में कितना इन्वेस्टमेंट हुआ है. Let me tell you the line item.
Purchased.
Yeah,
One.
fixed assets purchased and fixed assets sold. तो वो है तुम्हारा कि कितना तुमने कैपेक्स किया है, कितना कैश फ्लो तुम्हारा कैपिटल इन्वेस्टमेंट्स में गया है. एंड बेसिकली इन द बैलेंस शीट इट विल शो अप इन योर फिक्स्ड एसेट्स, राइट. सो जितना तुम कैश फ्लो में खर्चा करोगे ऑन फिक्स्ड एसेट्स, उतना तुम्हारे बैलेंस शीट में इट विल स्टार्ट इंक्रीजिंग द फिक्स्ड एसेट्स, राइट. एंड बिफोर फिक्स्ड एसेट में वो तब आता है when your plant is commissioned and ready for commercial production. उसके पहले जब बन रहा होता है, जब कोई फैक्ट्री बन रही होती है या जब कोई मशीन लग रहे होते हैं, तो इट इज कैप्चर्ड इन दिस लाइन कॉल्ड CWIP, विच इज कैपिटल वर्क इन प्रोग्रेस. मतलब काम अभी प्रोग्रेस में है, द कैपिटल वर्क इज इन प्रोग्रेस.
वो तो फिर अकाउंटिंग रूल्स के ऊपर आ जाता है ना, आप कब
हाँ
रिकॉग्नाइज
मतलब
कर रहे हो आप?
हाँ, तो बेसिकली अ हाई सीवेप. Suppose a company is saying that we'll do capex of 200 crores. Uh, as long as it doesn't show in your CWIP, it can't directly go to fixed assets. So you don't need to worry about missing out on a huge capex coming online. If you're not seeing anything in CWIP, that means कि construction शुरू भी नहीं हुआ. So that's how it happens. It goes flows to CWIP and then goes to fixed assets.
I see. Nice.
Sometimes
और
what happens is between two reporting periods, the CWIP period is so small that पैसा लगाने में और कमीशन होने में मान लो 6 महीने के अंदर ही हो गया, बिकॉज बैलेंस शीट्स आर यूजुअली अपडेटेड ट्वाइस अ ईयर. तो तब तुम्हें नहीं दिखेगा सीवेप, तब डायरेक्ट वो इन्वेस्ट होगा और डायरेक्ट फिक्स्ड एसेट बन जाएगा. सीवेप इंटरमीडिएट पीरियड में होगा जहाँ रिपोर्ट नहीं होती बैलेंस शीट. But normally you will get to see it first in CWIP and then it will come to fixed assets. So, for example, Vikram Thermo has no capex plans for the last 2 years because I can see CWIP is zero.
जीरो.
तो इसीलिए मैं पूछ रहा था कि ग्रोथ कहाँ से आएगा. तो दैट्स व्हाई आई वाज ट्राइंग टू कैलकुलेट कि कितना इनके पास स्पेयर कैपेसिटी बचा होगा. ज़्यादा तो नहीं है बचा, तो आई एम अ लिटिल सरप्राइज अभी ये ग्रोथ के लिए क्या कर रहे हैं.
I see. So like I indirectly did it, but I wasn't exactly looking at CWIP quality. So like that's a really good point. But I indirectly like sort of got to the same conclusion. Like that's a chance quality. So wouldn't it
राइट.
depend on it again? Not gonna lie.
राइट.
Like really thanks for that वाली चीज. बहुत interesting
दैट्स
था
ओके.
ये. Cause I tried to do like एक मेरे उसमें था. I submitted a report to him like Gaurav to like see कि पूरा मेरा एनालिसिस क्या है. उसमें देयर वाज ऑपरेशनल एफिशिएंसी वाली चीज भी कि लाइक इन्वेंटरी डेज, डेटर डेज
राइट.
ऑफ लाइक उसको फिर पीयर से कंपेयर करना. and I got
Right.
bit on a time crunch वाली चीज़, तो उस चक्कर में मैं कर नहीं पाया, because I wasn't like first, तो मेरा peer वाली ही चीज़ ही पूरी ruin हो गई थी, because
No,
I
no,
compared.
that's fine. I think मतलब वो एक्सपीरियंस के साथ ही आता है यार कि sometimes not doing a peer comparison is better than doing it with the wrong peers. वो तुम्हें एक्सपीरियंस के साथ ही समझ आएगा. So that is fine. So don't worry about that. You filled up that Excel, right? The
Which
Excel
one?
sheet. एक exercise था ना जिसमें एक Excel sheet
Yeah,
fill करना था.
yeah, I got like a good attempt and was asked to contact Gaurav on
Okay,
it.
okay,
And
okay. Great.
afterwards, like he assigned, like there was a bit of a gap in like communication, but after it he assigned me this company
Okay.
and gave me like a 6 or 7 questions on it,
Hmm.
like value क्या है, bit margins क्या, history, timeline, and
Right.
gave me like a few videos to watch. I
Right.
watched them and like kept bugging him for at like odd hours कि like बताओ मुझे समझ नहीं आया ये चीज, and
Right.
he was really helpful, not gonna lie. He gave me that value picker वाली चीज भी. A lot
Yeah.
of antithesis वाले 2 points from antithesis was from
Yeah.
value
Yeah.
picker after I researched them.
Yeah. Yeah. Value picker is a gem. मतलब if you are interested in this field, you have to become a regular there. It's an absolutely great resource.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So there was an issue that I submitted a report to him last night, like
Mhm.
last night, and I asked him like, "Is it okay?" And then he like just said, "Okay, I will contact Nirvana sir and we'll like have a PPT on it." And I was like, "Oh, PPT!" I made a report. I like sat like
Oh, so you
puri
made the
raat.
PPT today, is it?
I made it like 4 p.m. 4 a.m. yesterday.
Oh, hey, oh my God. Okay. Yeah, no,
Uh,
really good effort, Pratham. I mean, I really like the presentation. I think whatever you explained, I mean, I got a sense of the company, and you were also trying to make sense of the product rather than just reading out technical terms that they use, right? Because that is of no use
cause,
to a financial analyst.
cause when I read it, I was like, "That's gibberish. चीज
Yeah,
बताओ क्या है? What's the
yeah,
main thing
exactly,
do we get
exactly,
get out of
exactly.
it?"
So that's when you know where the first thing is we should try to simplify things so that जितनी simple तरीके से तुम explain करोगे उतना तुम्हारी understanding better है. जितना you use these technical jargons which normal person can't understand, उसका मतलब ही ये है कि your understanding probably is not that clear. So I was happy to see that. So good presentation, Pratham. I think we'll be happy to have you on board. But just wanted to understand from you, what is your, so you're in your third year, right?
Yeah. So like I would be completely blunt because I really like put effort is वाले aspect में. The
Yeah.
main thing for my internship aspect is it's supposed to start from today. Not for your company. I'm just telling you like what
Hmm.
मेरा general अभी is seen as. Is
Hmm.
basically in my college, Delhi Technological University, there is a SIP summer internship program of
Okay.
8 weeks or 2 months
Right.
that you are compulsory to do, and that
Got
you are supposed to have a viva in the subsequent semester.
got it.
So we have to make an entire report for everything that we have done, except anything that is covered under NDA, because like obviously
Right.
NDAs are not legally not allowed to disclose.
Right.
So we are supposed to make a report on it, and it's supposed to start from June 1 to like July end. So I
Got it.
asked Gaurav, like I was completely like honest with Gaurav that मेरे साथ
Hmm.
ये होगा.
Hmm.
So that's why I rushed it 2 दिन ज़्यादा. He gave me time till Friday, but I was like, no, I have to do it थोड़ा जल्दी.
Right.
So he said that it's okay, but he was like specifics discuss करने. On it, my personal opinion is I am available for the internship full time till September,
Right.
because after which there are my exams. And
Right.
but what I would personally like as a favor is that I would get like a joining letter as well as a certificate for like June to July, because you can
Got
give me
it.
the actual one, but I want that one to just like go in the report, because they don't allow full time after July.
Yeah, yeah, that should be fine, Pratham. See, as long as you're able to,
I would
work
be
your,
able to manage and give my all to it. Like I thought you like got a sense of that. I would like really interested this field में, but
yeah,
like a technical cheese to the I couldn't help it. So I was like,
No,
Let's
no,
be
that's fine. That's
honest.
fine. The presentation was quite good, Pratham. So you don't need to keep sort of saying that because nobody understands all subjects. As analysts, we are expected to analyze all kinds of companies. So how are you supposed to have technical knowledge of all fields? So that present, the kind of certification, etc., won't be a problem, Pratham. That we have given for other interns also. So I think that Gaurav will take care of it. You don't need to worry about it. But during these 2 months, what kind of weekly availability in terms of number of hours would you have?
Yeah. So, like in my past internships as well, although they were a bit different, I had never really had a very solid working wali cheese.
Hmm.
Cause even like you would have seen that I sent the like PPT at 4 a.m. So I'm generally a late night worker wali cheese.
Right,
So
right.
I would prefer it to be more on the task wali side that if you just give me a task and a
Yeah, yeah. So
general
there would,
deadline,
so
I would
Pratham, you
just do it for you.
misunderstood the question. You misunderstood the question. So it wasn't like what time of the day you're available. My question to you is, how many hours would you be able to devote to it? So, like you will also have different. So your college goes on during this period, or you're on a break for this?
No, it's a 2 month break
It's
for
a
the
2 month
college.
break.
So
Okay.
that's why.
Got it, got it. So, I mean, see, we look generally for people to do around 20 hours worth of work every week. Okay. And we don't have any kind of way to measure it. Like, we don't, there's no clock in, clock out, nothing like that. But we are experienced enough to understand whether that kind of work has gone in or not. So, that is the expectation. So, before you join, that is the confirmation that we would need that 20 hours worth of work in a week, will you be able to provide or not?
Yeah, I would be able to provide that.
Yeah,
That's like,
right.
it's like more hours went into this as compared to
Yeah,
that.
exactly, exactly. So, what we would typically, what we do is, like, you will give you context about a company which we are interested in, and then you would probably take it and start researching on it. Sometimes we do it as teams. So we recently did two agrochemical companies in teams of three, but most times we would, encourage interns to do the analysis on their own. So very similar to what you already did with some more rigor because the report that you produce will probably, if the report is good, if the opportunity is good, would probably go into investment decisions, right? For our capital, for capital that we manage for our friends,
So
family, etc. Yeah.
that puts like a bit, like
No,
a
you
bit
don't need to worry
actually.
about it. You need to, that's our job. I mean, whether we, decide to use your report or not is our worry. Your worry is just, you are completely shielded from all that, all those things. Your thing is just to provide good analysis. That's it. Nothing else.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like this was the analysis where I almost gave my best. Pura like,
Yeah, this was quite good, Pratham. So this was
so
quite
if
good.
it's like up to essay and above, I can provide that. But like that's like at a level where I'm like currently in my financial knowledge
Yeah, yeah.
policies.
So you will also learn a lot during this journey.
Yeah,
There is a
that's like
lot.
one of the reasons like want to
Yeah,
learn about the field because after third year we're supposed to sit for placements and
right. So
like
there
if you have
are, yeah,
yes,
go ahead.
I was like just saying if there's a hands-on experience like it's better for like
Yeah,
yours.
this will be absolutely hands-on experience with good mentors who are involved, who are willing to teach you. There's already a lot of teaching material online on YouTube from our content that you can consume. So, and anytime you need clarification on anything, understanding a concept, your peers plus me and Gaurav will help out. So, from a learning point of view, we are very confident, and that's the kind of feedback we have had from all our past interns that it's very good from that perspective. So, I don't think you need to worry on that.
Yeah, sure. So,
Yeah. So,
yeah,
2 months you're going to be like full at it, and then after that you're saying that
till
you may be
September.
able to extend it from
Yeah.
July and August, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Got it. So I'll pass on this information to Gaurav. He's, I think, got into an urgent meeting and he will connect with you maybe today itself or worst case tomorrow. And don't worry about the joining letter and the recommendation, etc. If you do a good job, you'll get the recommendation for sure. And joining letter, you'll definitely get. Yeah.
So,
So anything else?
Not really. Like if like the details, I would just figure it out with Gaurav. I
Yeah,
just had that capex wali cheese, so I just asked you ki, how that happens. And yeah, was the
yeah,
presentation itself okay? Because it's one of like uh, templates that I. So was the presentation template okay? Because when I saw videos, they were like a bit on the plain end. We're more focused on the quality
yeah.
wali cheese. So I was like,
No, you're right. So the presentation, the format of the presentation and how it looked was really good. So it was really attractive. So that is why I said that I would like to learn that from you. I didn't know that. I knew that on Prezi you could do that. For example, the zoom in thing.
Prezi is like
I didn't know
entire.
you could do it on.
Yes, Prezi is
Yeah,
yeah,
right. So it was really good. I mean, the presentation format, etc. We care about both. I mean, uh, more about obviously, if the research is great, but also about the presentation quality because it matters because you're ultimately telling a story, right?
yeah,
And the way you choose to tell your story also matters.
yeah.
So it was good, Pratham. So overall, your even the rigor of your analysis was quite good. So obviously, you'll improve and learn more
Yeah.
when you join. Yeah.
The main reason for like all the colors is because I was like really into graphic designing in my first year. The first year was literally a mess for me. I just tried anything and everything.
I
It
see.
does gives dividends later.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everything gives dividend. Whatever you really like doing and you're not forced to do, if you spend quality time doing it for no other reason but because you're enjoying it or because you want to learn that, it will always give you dividends. This is what I've learned I'm 33 now. This is what I've learned. So,
That's like a decade of experience over me. I'm like
yeah,
19 a week.
yeah, that's more than a decade. So don't worry. Okay, Pratham. So Gaurav will get in touch with you. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. See you. Bye.